The Bhopal Gas Tragedy, also known as the Bhopal disaster, is one of the most infamous industrial accidents in the history of India. It occurred on the night of December the 2nd to the 3rd, 1984, in the city of Bhopal, located in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. The disaster resulted in the release of a deadly gas called methyl isocyanate (MI) from the Union Carbide India Limited (UCIL) pesticide plant. It caused widespread death, injury, and long-term health complications for thousands of people. It is important to delve into the events leading up to the disaster, the immediate aftermath, and the long-term consequences for the affected individuals and the community as a whole. This account will explore the causes of the tragedy, the human toll it exacted, the legal battles that ensued, and the lessons learned from this catastrophic incident. The UCIL pesticide plant in Bhopal was a subsidiary of the American multinational company Union Carbide Corporation, which the plant was established in the 1970s to produce pesticides, primarily using the highly toxic substance methyl isocyanate. The safety standards and maintenance practices at the plant were highly questionable, with numerous reports of leaks and safety violations in the years leading up to the disaster. On the night of December 2, 1984, a series of events led to the release of MI gas from one of the plant's storage tanks. The exact cause of the initial leak remains disputed, but it is widely believed that a combination of factors, including inadequate safety measures, poor maintenance, and human error, contributed to the disaster. The safety systems, such as refrigeration units and flare towers, designed to mitigate the risks of a gas release, were either malfunctioning or turned off. As the gas started leaking from the tank, it quickly spread into the surrounding residential areas, where thousands of people were sleeping. The residents woke up choking, coughing, and struggling to breathe as the toxic gas enveloped the city. Panic and chaos ensued as people fled their homes, desperately trying to escape the deadly gas. The gas affected people of all ages, including men, women, and children. The immediate impact of the gas leak was devastating. Thousands of people lost their lives within the first few days, with estimates ranging from 3,000 to 16,000 fatalities. The exact death toll remains a subject of debate due to difficulties in accurately accounting for the victims. The gas also caused injuries to over 500,000 people, many of whom suffered from respiratory problems, eye injuries, and other long-term health complications. The consequences were particularly severe for those living in the slums surrounding the plant, where poverty, malnutrition, and lack of access to healthcare exacerbated the effects of the gas exposure. The Indian government and local authorities struggled to provide immediate relief and medical assistance to the affected population. The lack of preparedness and resources compounded the tragedy, leaving many victims without adequate treatment. The Indian Army was eventually called in to assist with the relief efforts and to provide medical aid. In the aftermath of the disaster, there was widespread outrage and demands for justice. The Indian government filed multiple lawsuits against Bush and its executives, accusing them of negligence and culpable homicide. The legal battle, both in India and the United States, spanned several decades and involved complex jurisdictional issues and debates over the liability of the parent company. In 1989, Bush and the Indian government reached a settlement for $470 million, which was widely criticized as inadequate given the scale of the tragedy and the health consequences faced by the victims. The settlement also absolved Bush of any further liabilities, leading to further discontent among the affected individuals and advocacy groups who argued that justice had not been served. The Bhopal gas tragedy brought international attention to the issue of industrial safety and corporate accountability. It highlighted the need for stringent regulations, proper maintenance protocols, and emergency preparedness in industries handling hazardous substances. The disaster sparked a global conversation on corporate responsibility and the ethical implications of conducting business in developing countries. The long-term consequences of the gas leak continue to haunt the people of Bhopal. Many survivors and their children suffer from chronic health problems, including respiratory disorders, neurological disorders, and birth defects. The contaminated soil and water sources in the affected areas pose ongoing health risks to the community. Efforts to clean up the site and provide medical assistance to the victims have been slow and insufficient, leaving many to grapple with the aftermath of the tragedy on their own. The Bhopal gas tragedy also had far-reaching implications for the global chemical industry. It led to increased scrutiny of safety standards and regulations, prompting governments and organizations to reevaluate their policies. The disaster underscored the importance of implementing robust safety measures, conducting regular inspections, and holding corporations accountable for their actions. It also spurred the development of international conventions and agreements aimed at preventing similar incidents and ensuring the protection of workers and communities in industrial settings. The Bhopal gas tragedy served as a grim reminder of the devastating human and environmental impact that can arise from negligence, inadequate safety measures, and a lack of corporate accountability. It stands as a tragic chapter in the history of industrial disasters and continues to resonate as a symbol of the ongoing struggle for justice and the need for safety regulations in industries. In conclusion, the Bhopal gas tragedy was a catastrophic industrial disaster that resulted in the release of toxic gas, causing immense loss of life and health consequences for the affected population. The event exposed the flaws in safety standards, emergency preparedness, and corporate accountability. It sparked a global conversation on industrial safety and the ethical responsibilities of corporations. The tragedy continues to have lasting effects on the affected individuals and serves as a stark reminder of the need for stringent regulations and measures to prevent similar incidents in the future.